going on, Bucs fans? You're watching Bucs Breakdown presented by Prize Picks. Make sure to use code HMA to get $150 in lineups if you win your first $5 or more lineup. My name's Reed Barkus. Wherever you're watching, whenever you're watching, hope you're having a great day because we got Bucs football almost here. Just a couple days, I guess, one day, depending on when you're watching this. But coming up on today's show, I want to do a breakdown of a way too early Bucs 53-man roster projection during the preseason, as if, roster cuts are today. Who makes the squad? Who doesn't? Who's getting in on that 53-man roster? And, of course, the 53-man roster day is Sunday, August 30th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So these guys in the preseason, we got to watch them closely because they have a chance to make this roster if they go out and make some plays, like our guy Aiden Garnes, who is going to be on this list. Spoiler alert. Now, let's start with the quarterbacks. Obviously, Baker Mayfield, he's going to be playing on Saturday against the Chiefs, which is absolutely awesome. And then I have Drake Browning as QB2 and Connor Bazelak as QB3. But, guys, Jalon Daniels continues to impress. One, he's been impressing in practice, but he went out there against the Jets and had a fantastic game. And I think a lot of Bucs fans, at least me, I think he could be vying for that QB2 job, right? He went 10 for 15, 111 yards, no touchdowns, but also no interceptions with an 88.5 QB rating against the New York Jets on Friday. So, there's a chance that he could be QB2. And honestly, I wouldn't hate that, right? So if I'm starting off with who I'm going to take, it's 1, 2, 3. I'm taking Baker Mayfield. I'm putting Jalon Daniels as QB2. Give me him as QB2, right? And then Jake Browning coming off that injury, his back injury, put him at QB3. I know you get him in free agency, but this is a huge preseason for Jalon Daniels. If he continues to impress, I think he could be QB2. And you let me know if Jalon Daniels should even make the roster, because I think heading into the preseason, heading into the offseason as well, you sign him as a UDFA out of Kansas, he's just going to be a depth piece, right? Maybe just a practice squad guy. Maybe he beats out Connor Bazelak as that practice squad guy. I'm saying we take 3 quarterbacks and see what Jalon Daniels can do. Obviously, we know last year Baker Mayfield got banged up a ton. Maybe if one too many injuries, get Jalon Daniels out there and make some plays. I thought he did really well against the New York Jets. So let me know down in the comments section. Moving on to the running backs, Bucky Irving, Kenneth Gainwell, Sean Tucker, and Josh Williams. Those are the guys that we have on the squad right now. I think I am missing as well our other running back that we signed that I can't believe that I didn't put him on here. I'm gonna be butchering his name. Barika Pinwu. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. He's definitely not watching this. But either way, we're gonna take the 4 guys that are on screen right now. Bucky Irving, Kenneth Gainwell, Sean Tucker, and Josh Williams. I was going back and forth between keeping Josh Williams, but what I saw against the Jets, I think he still has a lot of potential to help with special teams and just maybe some extra packages as well, depending on what Zach Robinson wants to do. I think he's been a special teams guy that we've had for the last years, and he's proved himself there. So I think we keep him. But if there is places where you want to move stuff, Josh Williams could be a cut candidate for sure. Moving on to the wide receiver room. Emeka Egbuka, obviously we got to monitor his toe injury, and then Jalen McMillan as well. Dealing with some injury as well. But Chris Godwin, Hurst, Tez Johnson, Kameron Johnson as well. David Sills you bring in free agency. Dennis Houston was getting a lot of run against the Jets as well. Eric Rivers and Patterson down there as UDFA Eric Rivers. I know a lot of people love him, but I think we're going to keep 6 wide receivers, right? Emeka Egbuka, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, Hurst, Tez Johnson, and Cameron Johnson as well. I could totally see people. I think Pewter Report had the Bucs keeping 5 wide receivers because you're keeping 3 quarterbacks. But I think Cameron Johnson is going to be that special teamer, that kick returner, punt returner with Kenny Gainwell. I know Tez Johnson can do that as well, but he's been pretty solid and valuable in that sense. So I think we keep him there. I'm excited for Hurst, right? He had An okay game against the Jets. Nothing crazy. I didn't think he played a lot compared to, maybe some other rookies, but I'm really excited for what he can do in this preseason. And I want to see him run with the starters as well. So we'll have to see what the Chiefs game looks like in terms of the starters playing and stuff like that. But we'll see what happens. I'm very excited for Ted Hurst. Before we get on with the rest of today's show, I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor. You're watching today's video completely free because of our sponsors, and one of those being SeatGeek. If you guys are trying to get out of the house and go to a ball game, maybe a concert, something like that, SeatGeek is the spot to go, right? Now, today's show is made possible by SeatGeek. You guys are watching this for free because of them. So big shout out to them. And if you guys are trying to go to a game, use code CHAT10 to get 10% off your next set of tickets. Now, the Rays are playing right now, but a big thing as the season gets closer, they do have Tampa Bay Buccaneers tickets available right now. And SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. Now, as you see on your screen right now, you can see what your view will look like before you even buy your ticket. You can see good old Ray J right there on your screen. You'd be like, hey, I really like that view. And then you go to a different ticket and you're like, actually, I don't like that one as much. This one's a little bit better. You guys can do that. And of course, I have a code for you guys. You can use code CHAT10 to get 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any set of tickets. So if you want to go to a concert too, you can use promo code CHAT10. Just click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you so much to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's show. All right, moving on to our tight end depth chart. Looks a little interesting. I think I would probably move Bauer Sharp into the tight end 3 position right now, just because of what the screen is about to look like next. But Kieft as well. Fletcher, the guy's in the depth piece, right? I think Zach Robinson's going to use 2 tight ends a lot, though. So this was kind of tough for me. I only kept 3. And I know, so when a guy like Josh Williams, you cut him and you bring back Bauer Sharp. But Cade Otton, he's your guy. Payne Durham, he's your blocking guy. And probably going to be that 2 tight end set. And then Kieft is your special teams demon. You bring him back on a deal as well. He's going to make the squad. Now, keeping 3 QBs has some drawbacks, right? This is going to be one of them. And unfortunately, it really was hard to do this. But I don't really like it. But if Bauer Sharp continues to make plays or make even more plays in the preseason and practice, and he proves that he deserves a spot on this roster, I think maybe you cut a guy like Cameron Johnson or a guy like Josh Williams, and then you bring in Bauer Sharp. So this could possibly change. I know, like I said, Zach Robinson likes to use that 2 tight end set, that 12 personnel. So maybe he does want to keep an extra one, and Josh Williams gets cut, but we'll have to see. If Bauer Sharp continues to make plays, I think he could make this roster. But this is what I'm saying right now. If the roster cutdown was right now, Devin Culp's not making it, and Bauer Sharp, probably practice squad guys. All right, moving on to the offensive line. I can't wait to watch these 5 guys play on Saturday. It is going to be absolutely so electric. And Ben Chukwuma, obviously not having a great training camp, but he is just a depth piece there. You bring in Justin Skule, familiar face, and a veteran. So I think I keep 9 offensive linemen. Tristan Wirfs, Ben Bredeson, Graham Barton, Cody Mauch, and Luke Goedeke. Those are your top guys. And then Ben Chukwuma, Justin Skule, Dan Feeney, and Billy Shrauth. Dan Feeney can play a little bit of both guard and tackle. And then Billy Shrauth, he's your developmental guy. So you keep him in there at guard. You drafted him out of Notre Dame. So I think he has some potential, and you only keep 9. So I think, Elijah Klein was a guy that I was thinking about, but I think those are going to be your practice squad guys, and you can always elevate them. On to the defensive side of the ball. Kalijah Kancey, our brand new money man, Vita Vea, Ashawn Robinson, Nacho, DeMonte Capehart, Elijah Roberts, Elijah Simmons. A lot of the guys, it's going to be tough, honestly, to not cut a lot of these guys, but I think the 6 that you have to keep, obviously Vita Vea at nose tackle, Kalijah Kancey, Ashawn Robinson, Elijah Roberts, Raheem Nunez-Roches. He's the energy guy and the veteran presence, and I think you have to keep him, right? And then Devontae Capehart out of Clemson. He's big. He's honestly another developmental guy. If you can get him, sort of taking the place of Vita Vea in the next couple of years, I think that would be huge. And obviously, speaking of Vita Vea, if you guys did not see my video yesterday, I made a video from my house because yesterday, two-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Vita Vea and the Buccaneers have reached agreement on a one-year, $30 million extension. So he gets $6 million new money this season. I kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit, where Vita Vea, he's basically getting like a $6 million raise this year to make it $24 million. And then next year, he's making $24 million as well. So it's $48 million guaranteed, 24 this year, 24 next year. So he was going to make 18. They bump it up to 24 and then 24 next year. So that is basically what the one-year, $30 million extension is. But just a little bit of explanation for there. And speaking of Vita Vea, when it comes to Vita Vea, Todd Bowles said, "I'm never comfortable playing without him." So I think that makes sense when you try and bring him back. I've been saying it on this channel, and you guys can go back and watch videos. I always was like, I don't know if Vita Vea is going to get traded. You never know what can happen. But my thoughts were it was just sort of a ploy to get the extension talks where he wanted them. It's clear. He literally said he didn't want to get traded. He wanted to be a Buck for life. So I was right. He's kind of pushing it to the front office saying, hey, guys, come on, let's figure something out. And they did. So, honestly, I'm glad they did, because I think when we see him play, we're going to be like, oh, my God, what would we have done without him, right? So, I want to get to more of my, who's going to make the secondary and stuff like that. But you guys are watching this video for completely free, like I said just a couple minutes ago. That is because of our sponsors. And the other sponsor on today's show is PrizePicks. You know them, you love them. You can win some money on PrizePicks. Just make sure to download the PrizePicks app and use code HMA. You get $150 in lineups if you win that first $5 lineup. Now, they are America's #1 sports picks app, as well as mine since 2022. And like I said, you get a chance to win some money while watching your favorite sports. There's nothing that gets better than that. The app is super simple to use. Just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. That's it. Speaking of a lineup, an example of one for the game coming up on Saturday, I got the more on Baker Mayfield's passing yards. I don't know why, but I just envision Baker Mayfield throwing like a deep ball to like a Ted Hurst where he like mosses somebody and then goes in for a touchdown or something like that. So I'm doing the more on that. And then I'm doing the more on field goals made. I feel like in preseason, Harrison Butker or a kicker is just going to get a lot more chances to kick because of, one, how our defense is doing, and just preseason, like there's not a lot of touchdowns, I feel like. So I feel like there's a little bit more field goals. So this is the lineup that I'm running with. If you guys want to copy this lineup, you can go on the social feeds feature and type in @ReedBarkus, and you will find this lineup with some others as well. So you can copy that, or you can make your own. Just do it on PrizePicks. Best of all, play your first $5 lineup and get $150 in lineups if you win that lineup. So you can copy mine lineup. If that wins on Saturday, you get $150 in bonus lineups to play with. That's awesome. Just use code HMA when you sign up. That's right. PrizePicks just switched up their offer. This is no better time to join than right now. Lock in and win that first lineup. That's code HMA at signup to get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 or more lineup. PrizePicks, code HMA. Download the app now. All right. Let's talk about this linebacker room. Obviously, it looks very different. I feel like I say it every time we look at this. It looks very different than the linebacker group last year with Levante David. Now, Ruben Bain, Yaya Diaby, they're going to be on the edge. They are proven starters. Alex Anzalone is going to be a proven green dot guy in the middle. The one question mark, obviously, is who's going to start next to Alex Anzalone. I have Josiah Trotter in there. Could be Servassier Dennis, depending on it. I think Christian Roseboom is going to be a backup for Alex Anzalone. He's another, free agent pickup. David Walker has been really impressing, and Chris Braswell has not. Al-Quadin Muhammad, you pick him up from the Lions in free agency. So here's who I'm keeping. Ruben Bain Jr., Alex Anzalone, Josiah Trotter, Yaya Diaby, David Walker, Anthony Nelson, Al-Quadin Muhammad, Christian Roseboom, and I have to keep Servassier Dennis. I don't like keeping Servassier Dennis, but I think he deserves to be on this roster, unfortunately. But he's got to prove that he can stay. But guys, David Walker is doing so well. He had a couple pressures. That Aiden Garnes pick, the pressure was from David Walker. He had 9 consecutive sacks in 9 practices for training camp. And he was doing very, very well against the Jets in joint practice as well. He's exactly what you're looking for, right? That depth piece who, it just... The fact that Chris Braswell is not doing well and David Walker is doing better, it's so funny. A 4th-round pick and a 2nd-round pick. So I'm really excited to see him and what he can do in the next coming games. And then for the season as well. He's going to get run. I've if he keeps making these plays, he's going to be in the rotation heavily. And I can't wait to see that because he's doing well. He's really, really doing well. All right, let's look at the cornerback depth chart. Zion McCollum, I hope his injury clears up a little bit more. Same thing with Benjamin Morrison. Jacob Parrish, I have him in that nickel position just because I think Benjamin Morrison is going to be healthy for the start of the season, hopefully. And then... I believe I forgot to take out Chase Lucas. He got waived. But anyways, this secondary, it's hopefully, or no, Marcus Banks got waived. And yes, Marcus Banks and Chase Lucas got waived. I'm sorry. So Keontae Scott's that backup nickel. But I have him as a corner, but he can play a little bit of both. So here are the 6 guys I'm keeping. Zion McCollum, Jacob Parrish, Aiden Garnes, obviously. Benjamin Morrison, Keontae Scott, and Pepe Williams. Demarion Williams, has been making a lot of plays. And I think when you show you can make plays and show that you want to be on the field, that's a huge thing about making the roster. Like the well-deserved spot that Aiden Garnes has given himself, right? He said in an interview, I talked about it, he said, I've always expected to make this, right? I've always expected to make the 53-man roster. Love the confidence on that. It's a well-deserved spot. When you have a pick 6 against a former starting NFL quarterback in Bailey Zappi, and you also are just like a good player, like that's going to get noticed. You had 3 tackles, a TFL, a PBU, and that pick 6 against the Jets. He deserves a spot on this roster. And whether it's he doesn't get a ton of, run because he's the backup, but he deserves a spot. And if you disagree with me, argue with that wall over there. All right. Speaking of hanging out with me, or if you want to talk to me, I will be going live on this channel on Saturday for the Bucs versus Chiefs game. So join me, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications because I'll probably be going live about 30 minutes to 15 minutes before the game. Chop it up with you guys before the game starts, and then I'll give you live play-by-play. We'll hang out with you. Maybe we'll do some, some fun deals and stuff like that. You'll hang out with me. We'll watch the game, and it's just a spot for you to, if you're gonna be watching the game anyways, might as well watch it with me as well. So subscribe and turn on your notifications, and you'll get notified when I go live, and you can come and watch the game and get some play-by-play from yours truly. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. I just want to give you a reminder on that. Now, Bucs safety depth chart. Let's continue on. Tyke Smith, Antoine Winfield, Rashad Wisdom, J.J. Roberts, Miles Kilbrew, and our brand new signing as well in Robert McDaniel. So who makes this squad? Because when you think about it, Keontae Scott can kind of play that safety role as well. So I'm only keeping really 4. Antoine Winfield, Tyke Smith, Ifeatu Melifonwu, and then Miles Kilbrew. These are the 4 guys that I think, if you want to say something about Ifeatu Melifonwu, I mean, he's a veteran guy that has been making some plays and has been doing well in training camp. If you need to cut somebody extra, I think that would be the guy because Miles Kilbrew is going to be your special teams ace because he has the connection with Danny Smith. But I think when you look at the secondary, I mean, who doesn't deserve that spot, right? Rashad Wisdom, maybe instead of Melifonwu. Josh Hayes is going to be a practice squad guy. Pepe Williams is making that squad. Like Keontae Scott, like I said, can kind of play everywhere. Same thing with like Jacob Parrish. Like Jacob Parrish more of like outside to nickel, but Keontae Scott can play like nickel, outside, or safety. So he's a little versatile, and I think that's why you maybe don't keep as many on the roster. But we'll have to see what Todd Bowles and Jason Light have, because clearly you could be like, Reed, you have no idea what you're talking about. You're not even working for the team. You're totally right. This is a way too early roster cut down. So we'll see what happens. But to round it out of today's video, today's very long video, thank you so much for sticking with us. Chase McLaughlin, Riley Dixon, Evan Deckers, those are pretty much locks. But Kenneth Gainwell and Cameron Johnson I have for kick returner and punt returner. I know Tez Johnson has done it a little bit as well, so that's why I'm saying, like, if Cameron Johnson gets cut, I think Tez Johnson will slide right in there. Sean Tucker has been taking some as well, so we'll see what happens there. But when it comes down to the kicker, punter, long snapper, it's these three guys. It's always been these three guys. We don't need to harp on anything any more than that, right? Chase McLaughlin, he's pretty solid. Riley Dixon as well. And Evan Deckers, I mean, long snappers. Give him some credit, making the 53-minute. He's number 53 to make the roster. So, by the way, who did I miss? If you're sitting here like yelling at the screen, being like, Reed, you missed this person, please let me know down in the comment section. That's where you can yell at me. I can't hear you yelling at me right now. So just go in the comments and yell at me then and see who I missed on this roster. Thank you so much for watching to the end of today's show. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, and you will see me, hopefully, on Saturday at probably 7:15 Eastern time, about 15 minutes before the game starts. And you get to hang out with me. I'll give you some play-by-play, and we'll watch the game together and have some fun. All right? Maybe I'll drink some beers as well, and you drink some beers with me as well if you're over 21 years old. As always, fire the cannons.